Hey friends, Melanie Hobby here, and I'm doing this blog post today to let you know a little bit more about me and to do a tour of my awesome 70s kitchen here so that you can see kind of how my husband and I do our paleo approach to life, and lately leaning more towards a slightly vegetarian twist, even though we still eat meat and a little bit of eggs. So a little bit about me: I was diagnosed with Crohn's when I was 19 years old. And it was really, really tough. I mean, they're actually at this point talking about Crohn's like in remission, like the way they talk about cancer. And so it's very, very serious, and I had that on my shoulders at 19 years old. And at first I was doing what they told me to do. They tell you be low in fiber and avoid dairy because that seems to bother some Crohn's people. But that was about it. And they were like, other than that, just eat healthy. So I was like, okay, and I was eating all kinds of whole grains, lots of wheat. I was eating meat, sugars, lots of breads, that kind of thing, and I was keeping it low as far as like the really fibrous fruits and vegetables, which is completely the opposite of what you should be doing to be healthy, no matter what anyone says. But I was doing it, and I kept getting more and more sick. I went from being hospitalized in 4 years to being hospitalized every 2 years to every year to several times a year. And at the very end, I'm only 5'1", and I was in the 160s in weight from them pumping me full of steroids all the time. I couldn't barely finish any college classes or have a job or have a life or go out with friends, anything. It was really crippling. And by the end, I was in the hospital 6 times, including the time that I got my abdominal surgery. And I don't know about you, but I don't recommend abdominal surgery to anyone. Major surgery, no thank you, never again, please. So that was a really rough time in my life, and I said, look, I've been on meds for like 5 years now, 6 years, and they're not doing anything for me. So I started doing my own research. And at first, I looked at all these Crohn's boards, and all the support network of Crohn's people had great success going gluten-free. So I was like, great, I'll go gluten-free. And when I first did that, I felt a lot better, but then it kind of stopped and it plateaued and it got worse again. And that's because I was replacing the gluten grains with all the gluten-free grains, all the rice and corn and all of these things, and I just started tanking again. I mean, I felt marginally better, but not at all okay. Just, a little bit better. So one of these days I was cooking dinner and I was like, look, I don't feel like quinoa pasta and gluten-free this and that. That's all a lot of work. So can I just have a grain-free dinner for once? So I Googled grain-free dinner, and lo and behold, the whole paleo world opened up to me. And that, my friends, is when I cured myself of Crohn's, going on a paleo diet. I got rid of all the grains, all the soy, all the dairy products, all those inflammatory things that no matter who you are, it causes inflammation in your body. It can cause leaky gut, look that one up, and it could cause ulcers and everything. It's bad news. It was literally punching holes in my gut, and I was just taking it, because that was healthy, right? Gluten-free, super healthy, didn't know any better. So now I'm going to take you around my kitchen and show you some of the things that Terrell and I eat for our staple foods, because a lot of people are worried about me, thinking that I'm starving to death, probably because I lost about 30 pounds this way, which, like I said before, I was really overweight. I was in the 150s, 160s. I needed to lose 30 pounds on a 5'1" frame. I needed to. So I'm so very grateful for that milestone. Yay, go me. And I'll show you around my kitchen now. So here we keep the things that we like to cook or fry. As you can see, we have some plantains there, which I love. I have for breakfast a lot of the time. Sweet potatoes, I love those. Right behind it, that long brown thing that looks like a piece of wood is a yucca, and that actually makes an excellent mashed potatoes substitute. All you do is just boil it, mash it up, and it's exactly like mashed potatoes. I can't have white mashed potatoes. For most people, it's just nutritionally devoid, but I have a nightshade allergy, so I can't have them at all. I do have raw honey. It's raw, so that's really good, and sea salt. And then I have my coconut oil for frying. And basically, if you're frying, it needs to be coconut oil or palm oil. If it's anything else, then you're overheating the oils. Like if you try and cook with an oil like an olive oil or something like that, you will overheat it and it will go rancid, and that rancid oil will go in your body. So don't fry with anything except for saturated fats. Okay, then I have a nice whole watermelon, and I know it's backwards, but my hemp flour that I put, my hemp protein that I put in my smoothies a lot, because I am thinking about going more vegetarian, vegan, and hemp actually has all the essential amino acids. There are 21, technically 22 amino acids, but only 9 are essential. So even if you're on a vegan diet, between all those plants that you're going to eat, you are going to get the 9 essential ones, and that's what's important. But hemp has all 9, so go hemp, yay! So a couple more, whole fruits that we keep: bananas, avocados. These Georgia peaches are from our local farmers market, Georgia peaches, and they are delightful. Some more sweet potatoes. I'll take you over to the fridge. Now, you can't have any dairy on paleo or vegan. It's paleo vegan. And so we like to do a good coconut milk. If you don't have an nut allergy, which I do, but if you don't have a nut allergy, you can also do almond milk, is really good. Vegans can do rice milk, but paleos can't. It's a grain. So no rice milk on this diet. I drink a lot of orange juice. I drink that all the time. It's good to have a little bit of the pulp in it. Some more orange juice, some coconut milk. I have my bone broth here. Any good paleo will tell you you need to have your good wholesome bone broth. And if you're having problems, no one likes to hear about this, but if you're having a problem where you're diarrheaing a lot and you are getting rid of all that fluid from your body and you're feeling weak and dehydrated, bone broth is the solution for that. No matter how vegetarian I go, I know that from now on when I'm sick, I'm going to be having bone broth, because that's why they say, the old wives' tale that chicken soup heals you when you're sick. It's because of back in the day they made chicken soup with all the bones in the chicken in the broth. So it was the bone broth actually that was giving you those health benefits. True story. So I have some more fresh fruit, pineapple, garlic, down here. We have mushrooms and fresh green beans, more of those Georgia peaches, more bone broth. I have some really nice, crisp, organic 2 packs of leafy greens, which I think are miracle foods also. And those bitter foods, like in leafy greens, are actually blood cleansers. So you'll get rid of a lot of the toxins that are floating around in your blood supply, and it'll give you health and strength and vitality and energy. So put down the monster and pick up some leafy greens. I make lots of wholesome soups all the time. Lots of good veggie soups, because you can put like 7 or 8 veggies in a soup, no problem. So that's that. This is a spaghetti squash spaghetti, because I can't do any greens at all, any pastas. I also, I'll show you that tool in a second. I have a Vegetti, and so you can take zucchinis and make pasta out of that. I have our beets. Can you see that? No, I'm not showing you. Beets and zucchinis, fresh cilantro, fresh herbs, organic carrots. We have turnips, rutabagas, radishes, broccoli, cauliflower. Just, you're allowed to have pretty much every vegetable in God's green earth. He created them for us to eat and enjoy and thrive with them. So pack in all the vegetables that you can. And fruits, I know that they get a big downer because of all the diabetic people and stuff like that, but you know what? There's a big difference between your breads and your carbs and your fresh fruits. And if you want a good video on that, I'll try and link it below, but Freely does a good book about how a fruitarian and vegan raw diet will cure your diabetes. And she eats an obscene amount of fruit. Like, let me just say that to you. She will sit there and eat an entire half a watermelon in one setting. So, she's definitely gets her fruit in for sure. All right, so in the freezer, we don't have a lot of things in the freezer because we don't really eat a lot of things, but we do have our fresh fruit, processed fruit right there that I processed myself. We do a little bit of fish from time to time because we are still eating meat. We only do wild caught because don't get me started on feed farms with animals. But so Terrell and I are trying something in the next couple weeks here where we're going to reduce our meat intake. And we're doing that to try and go a little more vegetarian, not for vegetarian's sake, but to get more of those fruits and vegetables and have less of a dependence on meat. Now, all the paleos will tell you, if you're not doing your best with meat, you might as well throw the whole thing out the window, because there's as much of a difference between feedlot meat and organic grass-fed meat as there is between meat and vegetables. Pretty much. If you are eating these feedlot cows, you're just putting antibiotics and hormones and their own feces straight into your body, all right? So please don't do that. Even if it means that you have to reduce down the amount of meat that you have, because it is more expensive to get good meat, get good meat. I encourage you, I really, really want you to do that if you do nothing else from this video, okay? So we buy our groceries in 2-week cycles, so from now on we're going to have about this amount of meat in our 2-week cycles, okay? So we have, let's take a look, we have 2 1-pound packets of grass-fed ground beef, so that's about 1 pound for each of us. We have a pack of chickens here. It is without antibiotics and hormones, and it's certified humane, so that is also good for the chickens. A good life in one bad day, as they say. And then right next to it here, we have an all-natural lamb raised without antibiotics or hormones. And both of these little lamb chops together are a little bit less than a pound. They're 0.80 of a pound, so about 0.4 of a pound for each of us, my husband and I. So really not a lot, like basically a pound, 2 pounds, 2.4 pounds in 2 weeks of meat. So that's a choice that we're starting to make to incorporate and see how we feel. So ask me again in a week or two and we'll tell you how we feel at the end of this little experiment. But until then, we're going to pump it up even more with the fruits and vegetables and just live that healthy lifestyle that we love. Because if there's any criticism or critique that I could give about paleo people, is that they're kind of off the deep end with meat. They'll tell you, wake up first thing in the morning, eat your bacon and eggs and sausage, and then for lunch have leftovers of grilled meats and all this meat all over the place. And I know that they're not getting enough micronutrients. Maybe they can prove me wrong, but even if they are somehow just barely sliding by with the correct amount of micronutrients, they're still drowning it in all this heaviness and this fat and grease and oil and salt, and it's just get fresh, just get whole. So that's our kitchen. I hope you enjoyed the tour. If you have any questions, let me know below. Oh, I will say one more thing. Getting a good cookbook is worth its weight in gold. And for, there we go, now you can see me. For paleo, I was crying and begging my husband for this book right here, Practical Paleo. And it's just such an amazing resource. It has quickly become my food Bible that I stick with all the way. The first third of it is her just explaining to you what elements are in your food and how they interact in your body. And then the second third is a 30-day meal plan guide with several different meal plans, including those for autoimmune people like Crohn's, arthritis, MS, rheumatoid arthritis, migraines, depression, all that kind of stuff. There's weight loss 30-day meal plan. There's so many different meal plans. And then the last third of it, maybe a little bit more than a third, is the actual cookbook. And every single one of these recipes just makes you want to cry from happiness. Another book that I ordered today off Amazon is called Paleo Vegan, and I'm excited for that one because, again, like I said, we're just trying to reduce our meat intake. Not completely eliminate it, at least not yet, but we are reducing it and increasing in its place with fruits and vegetables and just getting whole and healthy and and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's the last thing I had to say. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm totally open, super easy with, you know, not being offended and answering questions really easily, and I look forward to it, okay? Love you all. Much love. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.